Last time, the message was आपे देवे सद बुलाए, अपना नाम मन वसाए, नानक नाम मिले वड्याई, अंदिन सदा गुण गावणिया. It is His grace, it is His blessing when He opens the doors for you, when He accepts all of your meditational discipline. He gave you the discipline. Ape deve. He is responsible for making it possible. And then sad bulai, He will open the door for you. And we have observed over the course of this discussion that whenever we are instructed to do something, we are immediately reminded to not become the doer. Watch for the ego to grow up. It will come without you noticing it. You have to be very, very alert, because the results are not because of what you are doing. Results are because of His grace. So in every hymn, whenever there is an instruction to do something, right after that there is a reminder. The moment you become a doer, whatever you have done, gone waste. In the world of physical existence, that is very, very valid. Particularly in this society where we are raising our families, every step of the way you have to actually at least once a year go and tell your boss, this is what I did. This is the result of my effort. You can't do that in the spiritual world. Not once a year, not once a life, not ever. Why is that? Because He knows it without you telling Him. The moment you try to tell Him, even in the form of a prayer, it is actually indicating that you do not really have the belief or the faith that He knows it all. Isn't it? If you go tell somebody, as we normally say, we will start with the statement, you might have already heard it, but let me remind you anyway. That might be okay between humans. That attitude is not valid with the ultimate Creator. I know you know it, but let me remind you anyway. No, if you say that, let me remind you anyway, you are actually telling Him that I really don't have the faith or the confidence that you really know it. So I'm going to remind you. So that definition of the Creator is all-knowing, all-powerful, omniscient, omnipresent. These are just words, but I really don't believe it. Hence it will not work. It is not that He is not hearing. It is that you are not paying attention. So we are reminded every time there is an instruction. Do meditation, do job, control ego. Whenever such statements are there, there is a reminder. Which is the reminder? Ape deve sad bulai. He is the doer. He is the one who will open the door. apna now mane vasaay. If you have now evolved to the level where you never forget him under any set of circumstances, it's not you. It is him who has made it possible for you. And if you follow this process, then Nanak naam mile vadiyai andin sadaa gun gaavane. Then you become worthy of going to the higher levels of consciousness. And where is this happening, all of this? Next hymn answers that question. Ootam janam suthaan vaasaa. Ootam means the most precious. Suthaan literally means a place or human body. Janam means to be born, and vasa means to live. So the reminder is, it is happening right inside your body. You may be looking outside, but the changes are all internal. And if there are no changes at the internal level, then you haven't accomplished anything. As I have said many times, a dog which can bark the loudest does not necessarily mean he is a good dog. Similarly, a man who has just learned to talk is not necessarily a good man, because the changes are internal. You can practice, go to the speech therapist, language you can learn. You can go to the linguists and come up with the best possible pronunciation and the structure of the sentences. All of the Middle East culture, Arabic, Islamic, Urdu speaking, Persian speaking, Arabic speaking, they have perfected this science. They know how to speak. They can choose the best possible words. They may be cursing you, but you wouldn't know that they have just cursed you, because the choice of the words will be such an untrained ear would not be able to catch it. But are they that sophisticated from inside also? That's a totally different matter. So the reminder is, what you were told last week, understand that it is happening inside you because he is inside you. He is not separate from you. And if that becomes feasible, here is a test for it. You can recognize it right away, that those changes are taking place internally. What will happen? Satgur sayveh ghar maahi udaasaa. You will be living in the world. You will be doing everything. But your inside will be detached from it. You will be affecting the world, but the world will not be affecting you. Just as the sun ray can fall on the water and affect the water, but water cannot affect the sun of the ray of the sun. Right? Ray of the sun doesn't get cool because it's falling on the water. That's a detachment. Touching and affecting the other, but untouched by yourself. If you are achieving that state, that means if the outside is not affecting you, but you are affecting the outside, then you are on the way. Just as this is our common experience and we say that all the time, and it is a good time to remind it. When we say, you said that or you did that, that's why I am angry. That means what's happening outside is affecting you. That means you are not anymore on the path. Then what should be? Well, your reaction should affect the other. You should be able to say, I know you are trying to excite me. I know you are trying to make me angry. I know your game. I am not going to get angry with you. That's the alertness. That's what is required. Which is satgur, sayveh, ghar, maahi, udaasaa. Ghar means the body, udaasaa means the detached. Detached means what? Not touch? No. Touch, but don't be affected. That's the key. Let not the outside world affect you. The moment you start practicing this, all other meditations are unnecessary. You are already meditating. Now that meditation becomes 24 hours a day meditation. Because this will happen all during the day. Somebody will be trying to touch you with affection. Somebody will be trying to touch you with anger. Somebody will try to touch you with greed. And if you are a meditator, you will see through that, yeah, I got you. Come on, I will become partner with you. I'll make all the investment. You run the business. We share profit 50-50. No, that's not a bad idea. Aha, somebody touched you with your greed. If you start putting in 3 hours overtime every day, I'll make you a director of this rather than a manager. Oh, that's not bad. My salary will go up. Guess what? You have just been touched. Now hold it right there. Are you trying to tell me I should not grow economically? No, I'm not saying that. If the growth is due to you and it is coming to you by itself on a natural process, welcome it as a gift from him. But if you get manipulated by somebody else, and then you think I am growing up because my boss just told me if you put in 3 hours every day more, that means 3 hours less for my family, 3 hours less for myself, and by that I'll give you 10% increase and I'll change your title. That's not growth. That's bribery. And you are being influenced by it. Udaasaa, detachment. In every walk of life. Punjabis are notorious for this, particularly when it comes to food. A little more. I just made it fresh, just for you. What do you mean? The rest of them are all dummies? Why didn't you make for all of them? Why just for? No, it's trying to attach you, trying to affect you. Parh maahi udaasaa. See through the game. Learn to implement it. We become experts at this game in our young age. When we are trying to attract the opposite, we play all these games. We say all these things. And we are all familiar with it. No, what should be there? Har rang rahe, sadaa rang raatay. Har rang. In every situation, no exception. No selective. Can I do this in this case? Can I make an exception in this case? No, if you are a meditator, there are no exceptions. The exceptions exist only in the physical, intellectual, and emotional dimension, not in the spiritual dimension. No exception. How is that communicated to us? Har rang rahe, sadaa rang raatay. In every situation, har rang, every situation. To do what? Rahe, remain. Where? Sadaa rang raatay. Forever in this memory. Never forget that man. Not under any set of circumstances. And we make these justifications to ourselves all the time. Well, when he said it was okay, but when she said I couldn't control myself any longer. What do you mean you couldn't control yourself any longer? If when he said it was okay, then when she said it should be okay too. I personally struggled with this all through my life. As I started working, walking on this path, slowly, anybody and everybody could criticize me and I was okay. And the first criticism from my wife, I lost. It took me 40 years of meditation to just capture this simple thought. And I used to tell her, anybody can criticize me, but you are my wife, you are not supposed to do this. And she would say, what's wrong is wrong. I am just a human like them. If they tell you and you are okay with it, when I tell you, why you get angry? And I kept on insisting, no, you do not have that right. Today, anybody, when they tell me you are a very nice person, I say, go talk to my wife first before you make up your mind. I'm not such a nice person. I know it now. I would not accept a false compliment. I'm not being ungrateful. I'm being truthful. Why? Because it demands it. I understood the meaning of this line. Har rang rahe, sadaa rang raatay. Don't you ever forget it. Don't make an exception. The rest of the world is okay, but my wife is not. Is a statement from a person who's living in a physical dimension, not in a spiritual dimension. All of the husbands here can look inside. Don't we have that feeling? My wife is always supposed to see good in me. But he's a human. When she sees bad, she cannot ignore it. Unless she is also on the spiritual path. If she is on the spiritual path, then she would never ever be able to see the negative in you. Because she is also trying to grow. You are also trying to grow. When one is on the path and the other is not, this is going to happen, you cannot avoid it. No matter how good you are, how good a husband you are, your wife will find a way to point something out in you. Cannot be avoided. The only way is encourage her, take her along with you on the same path. Get this principle inside your body, which is har rang rahe, sadaa rang raatay, har ras man tariptaavni-aa. And you will see a sudden revolution inside you. What is that? Tariptaavni-aa. Tariptaavni-aa means just when you are very thirsty and you get a large glass of very cold water and you chug it and you suddenly say, ah. That is tariptaavni-aa. Satisfaction. Total satisfaction. Not a single vibration. But that's possible only if you remember this. Har rang rahe, sadaa rang rahe. Forever. Don't forget this principle. Which is, what principle was that? I think we already forgotten it. Let me remind you. The principle given to us was satgur, sayveh, ghar, maahi, udaasaa. Live in the world, remember him and stay detached. Don't let the world affect you while you are affecting the world. Don't let them touch you even though you are touching them. This principle, if you can implement forever and ever, then the natural law will take over and you will develop a very, very unknown, unheard of quietness, satisfaction, peace inside you. Something that you have never experienced before. How does this process start? Haa-vaaree, jee-o, parh, bujh, vasaavani-aa. Two things. Surrender your ego, and then in that state solve the puzzle of life. What is the puzzle of life? It's a play. It's a game of hide and seek. He is hiding inside you and you're going to find him. And that's the game. If you can find him while you are in this body, the game will be over. If you don't find him while you are in this body, the game will continue. Right? Isn't that the law of the game? When you hide and somebody finds you, all you can do is, let's start another game. Right? The game is over. You just found it. If you can find him, how do you find him? He shows himself to you from within and tell you, here I am. Then you can be sure this game is over. I am not coming back now. But if you keep on searching and he is still hidden, you can be sure you will be coming back. You will be adopting another body. You will be having another set of relations, another set of transactions, and the game will continue. Gurmukh padhe har naam salahe dar sache so baba. That is why the emphasis is not on the blind faith. whatever I am saying here to you is totally nonsense unless it becomes yours. If you haven't thought about it and accepted it as your idea, not I am doing it because he said so, or I just heard it from there, that's why I am repeating it. It's not going to work. Unless you say, this is what I believe now. This wasn't my belief 10 years ago, but I have thought through it enough and I have changed my mind. That change is called spiritual growth. You are growing up in the spiritual world. Say for example, we have used this simile of drop the rope, don't pull it. Very simple analogy, very easy to remember. If there is a tension, then both of you are pulling the rope. Whose permission do you need? Drop your end. No, I am not dropping. He should drop it. That means you haven't learned nothing. For so many years and months, a simple rule in human relationship. If there is a tension, that means both of you are holding each on the other side. Drop the rope. Tension will go away. Oh, but that my ego is hurt. It is supposed to get hurt. Ego is the biggest culprit. Hit it hard. Don't forgive it. It will come back again. If ego is hurt, it's not such a bad price to pay to evolve spiritually. It's a very cheap deal for you. Take it. Let the ego die. Surrender. Submit. Oh, I can submit to you, but not to him. No way. But I have no conflict with you. What are you surrendering to me? What are you arguing? I have no fight with you. How can you surrender to me? That's impossible. Surrendering happening where the tension is. If you never fight with your mother and you say, I am surrendered to you, what does it mean? But you fight with your wife every day and there you don't surrender. That means you do not know what's the meaning of surrendering. You are just using these words. You are becoming an attorney. You are becoming a liar. You are just developing arguments to win an argument. You are not becoming a meditator. You are not becoming a bhagat. To become a bhagat, you want to invite. Look, I cannot see my face. Tell me where the blemish is on my face. And when he tells you, how dare you? My mother never saw that blemish. How can you see that? Immediate ego raises the head. Watch it. Become a true meditator, not a mechanical robot which just repeats. Om, Om, Ram, Ram, Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Allah, Allah. What is this? A machine can do a better job than you can. Take these principles sincerely and apply it so that you can evolve. And how do you apply it? The answer is Gurmukh Padhe. Padhe means read it and understand it, analyze it, go deeper into it. Don't just skip. Many of you might have, those who lived near the water or ever went to the water, probably enjoyed that game. Take a little stone and skip it over the water and see how many before it sinks, how many times it skips. Remember that? That's how the consciousness does. It just keep on skipping. No, let it sink. If it sinks, it will know how deep the water is. If it skips, it will not know anything. So the message is, har rang rahe, sadaa rang raatay, har ras man tariptaavni-aa, how vaari jee-o vaari, parh bujh man vasaavani-aa, gurmukh pade har naam salaheh, dar sache shobha paavni-aa rahaa-o. If you have taken this inside you, now you are becoming worthy of dar sache shobha paavni-aa. Dar means his place, sache means the truth, shobha means the great encouragement. If you walk one step, he will walk with you 10 steps. He will encourage you. You are on the right path. Who are you talking about? Who's encouraging me? Here comes the definition. Abhay-o raheh samaa-ay. I am talking about the one who cannot be understood. Alak. The one which cannot be ever understood, ever comprehended. Abhay-o, whose secrets remain with him. Nobody can uncover those secrets. Alak abhay-o raheh samaa-ay. And he's the one who's hidden inside you. He's the one who's playing the game of hide and seek with you. Upaa-ay na kitti paa-i-aa jaa-ay. Upaa-ay means the technique. No technique has been discovered that can directly expose him to you. It's not going to happen. If somebody promises you, then they are selling you the Brooklyn Bridge. Be alert. Kripa kare ta satgur bhete. It is His grace that makes it possible for you to meet and be in the right company. Satgur, the truthful master. It is your grace. It's a gift to you that you have been introduced by Him in an environment which will help you to solve these riddles without any self-interest. Kripa kare ta satgur bhete nadri mer milaavani-aa. Another, His loving eye on you, graceful eye on you. How do we know it? Well, you were given the test. You will start feeling an unknown peace within you. You cannot ask anybody else, how do you feel? You just have to close your eyes and say, how do I feel at this time? The entire journey is internal and focused on the self. We are insisting that we will walk the journey with somebody else. So now the focus is on the other. The responsibility is on the other. It doesn't work. You have to take responsibilities of your reactions. Mark my word. It is not the action that matters. It is the reaction to it How you react to every action determines your life. This hypothesis, if he reacts better, I can react better, is absolutely wrong. It will never work. Because he is also saying the same thing. If she reacts better, I will behave better. That means both are looking at the other. Then you are not a meditator. Forget it. Don't fool yourself. Take that focus from the other and turn it inward. When you sense the negativity, then go inside and say, how should I react to this? Should I get angry? Should I get depressed? Should I get sad? Should I get violent? Should I become an observer and not let that negativity affect me? All of these reactions are your choice and they are all available to you. The blame game does not exist for a meditator. This does not work. This works all the time. Every time. If you don't like the situation that you are in, find where you are holding the rope. Drop it. The other can keep on still pulling. There will be no tension. Become the true meditator. Become the true spiritualist. There is no other way. Upaa-ay na kitti paa-i-aa jaa-ay. There is no other technique. There is no other process. You have to evolve from within. When you start evolving from within, His grace starts flowing right away. No gap. If the grace is not flowing, don't blame Him. That means you are fooling somewhere yourself. You are in denial of what you are. You are saying, no, I am not bad. It's only Him. I am perfectly okay. The worst game that a human can play, out of the 3 games that every human plays, the possible 3 games, which are, I am okay, you are not. Second game, you are okay, I am not. Third game, I am okay, you are okay. The first is the worst. Third is the best. First is a pure blame game. I am okay, but you are not. That's a pure blame game. You are okay, I am not. That is a sadistic, self-punishing game. Self-flagellation. You are beating yourself up. Poor me, poor me, poor me. The only game that will help you to grow, I am okay and you are okay. And the fourth game will lead you to the destruction. You are not okay, I am not okay, let's commit suicide. That's the only end left. When nothing is okay, I am bad and the rest of the world is bad, there's no problem just blowing everybody up because everybody is bad. Learn the game. I am okay and you are okay. Why? We are both human. You have some pluses, I have some pluses. You have some negatives, I have some negatives. Let's help each other to remove the negatives. Because that is why the nature made you partners. Whether in the form of marriage, whether in the form of parents, whether in the forms of siblings, all relationships are for one purpose. evolve spiritually together. That's the only objective of life. Anybody who says, why were we born here? Tell them, I am here to be your spiritual partner. Are you ready to be my spiritual partner? I'll help you to grow up spiritually. You help me to grow up spiritually. That's the objective. And we want to grow that high so that we, both of us, do not have to come back again to repeat this drama again. When you do that, what happens? Kirpa kare ta satgur bhete nadri mel milaavani-aa. Then his grace is automatic. He will not withhold it back from anyone. But that's not what we do. We listen to these words. But what do we do instead? Duje bhaa-ay padhe nahi bujh. Attached with the outside world, duje bhaa-ay. Duje means the second, the other. Attached with the outside, even read what is being told, but doesn't solve the problem. Doesn't understand. Bujharat no hal nahi karta. Keep on reading, repeating. You can go to any school, any madrasa in the Islamic world, and all they are doing is taking the book and reading. This is all they do. All day long. When they pass the school, when they have memorized the entire Quran by word. If you can repeat it, you can now become a preacher in your own right. Same thing in the Sikhism. Keep on reading, repeating. When you remember the hymns by heart that you can sing without looking at your notes, go ahead, become a preacher. That's it. If you ask them anything, you're not supposed to ask these questions. Don't you know better? The whole world. Duje bhaa-ay, attached with the outside, padhe, and is reading it, hearing it. Nahi bujhe. He is not solving the riddle. Doesn't even understand that it is a riddle. Why? Tariptaavni-aa karana lujhe. Three types. What are the three types? Physical, emotional, and intellectual. Focus on the self, focus on the family, or focus on the world. Three types. No focus on the inner. No awareness of the inner journey of the soul. Only awareness of the outer journey. Three types of journey. You can keep on living, focusing on yourself. You can live focusing on your family and friends, and you can live thinking of the world. But they are all outside. The level that will get you over there is none of these three. It is focusing on the spirit. Focusing on the inside. And when you are focused on the outside, Tribhan bandhan tute guru shabdi mukt karaavani-aa. Bandhan means the bondage. This bondage of the outside is only possible to break with the help of his meditation. That's it. And when you walk on the path, remember, e man chanchal vas na aave. The mind has been habituated to run around. Chanchal. Keep on running. Chal, chal. One moment here, one moment here, one moment here, one moment. Don't get frustrated. It is natural. When you start, it would run even more. It will make you run around. Dugda lage dad dhave. It will make you run in all of the 10 directions. And if you get caught in that, bikh ka keeda, bikh mein raata, bikh hi maahi pachaavani-aa. Keeda means a microbe. Bikh means poison. Just a microbe in the poison is happy only living in the poison, you will fall into the same trap. So, solve the riddle. Do not just hear the words. Let them go deep inside your heart. Let it touch it, so that you can become a true meditator. So we'll take a pause here. If there are any comments or questions, the lines are still open.